Okay, welcome back. It is a little bit later than it was the last time I was here. 3:25 p.m. and we are back in open session. The first thing that I have coming out of closed is a resolution by Councillor. Sorry, I'm just going to correct this one. Moved by Councillor Bosenworth, seconded by Councillor McIntyre. Be it resolved that the Township Solicitor or Director of Development Services and Environmental Sustainability or their designate be authorized to enter into minutes of settlement in accordance with the direction in closed session report number CSS-2024-18 respecting the appeal to the decision on minor variance application A37/24 bracket Haley hyphen Scott. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. All right. Now, this is the only other one. Okay, this is the one that was tabled earlier. I hadn't read it though, right? Because I wouldn't have read it with that in there. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the resolution again. This is the short-term rental licensing bylaw resolution. Moved by Councillor Kent, seconded by Councillor Edwards. Be it resolved that the short-term rental licensing bylaw 2024-086 bracket STRA licensing bylaw bracket be given 3 readings and finally passed, and that staff be authorized to enter into a license agreement for short-term rental monitoring software with Granicus Host compliance on a sole source basis in accordance with procurement bylaw 2004-161, and that the Director of Development Services and Environmental Sustainability be authorized to execute the necessary documents to proceed with the contract and service. So we have, I think, a couple of issues that people wanted to talk about, as I recall. Yeah, coming out of closed. Does anyone? Sorry, Councillor Nishikawa?
Sorry, I'm just confused because of the, like, who?
No, she's. I think we should have it or designate.
Which
Development Services and Environmental Sustainability or designate.
Because I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm sorry.
All right. So how do I make that amendment? I'll just write in or designate. Good. Thank you for that. Okay, Councillor Kent, you had a couple of questions.
I thought the bylaw that we were looking at had the 75% and the other stuff in it. And that only deals with Granicus, doesn't it?
Nope. It says that the short-term rental licensing bylaw be given 3 readings and finally passed.
But I think
Well, that's what we're asking for.
Okay. when it went into closed, I thought we talked about 21 days. I had suggested 75%. Okay, I just want to make sure I understand this, because if you do 21 days rather than 75% of each monthly period, you can get 3 full 6-day rentals in, Saturday to Saturday, basically. And then you can have 4 days off, and then they can get another 3 days on the weekend. So you end up with 3 full weeks plus 3 days on the weekend. That wasn't the intention. 21 days is too much. It's got to be 18 days, or it's got to be 75% of the time. But 21 days doesn't work unless I'm counting wrong. You end up with somebody getting in there every weekend of the whole month, which that's what we were trying to do, is give them a 1-week hiatus where there's 1 weekend where the people might leave on Saturday morning, but they can't rent again until Saturday the next weekend. So I just was thinking about that after we agreed on 21 days and said, I don't think that works.
Well, no, there's 5 weeks in some months.
Right. So it has to be, I think, 75% of the time. I don't know, Rob, does that capture days?
75% of the days. You mean calendar days?
Or 75% of the days can be rented, 25% of the days can't be
Right.
rented. Right. However you
From May till.
on in each monthly period. Because you want
Councillor Bosenworth.
I think we were gonna just say June, July, and August. Because in May 24th is only gonna be, 10 days anyway.
Yeah, in each monthly period of June, July, and August. Like, I don't care about the 5 days in May, but it has to be calculated monthly, otherwise June goes back to the problem we had before.
Councillor Edwards.
Yes, but don't we also have the 6-day minimum, so they can't, so you're covered?
Well, so you can, which means that if you do it by 21 days, you get 3 6-day rentals in. And then you have 4 days off or something, and then you get another Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever somebody wants to get to 21 days. That was my concern.
You have to have minimum 6-day rent.
Unless they count as 7 days. If they count as 7 days each, then you're done. If each of those 6-day rentals is 7 days, not 6 nights, then you're at 21 days. Am I totally confusing everybody? Sorry. I am confusing you? Well, we went to 21 days.
Be consecutive.
It's nights.
So it's 21 nights, which means you get 18 nights on the three for full weeks, and then you're gonna get a whole nother weekend. And that means it's gonna be booked the whole month, basically, apart from 4 days in the middle. Rob, am I wrong?
Councillor Bosenworth, sorry. Do you have a
I think our intent is we want a week off.
We want a week off.
Mr. Kennedy, how would we best get a week off?
Thank you, Rob.
Weekend with no rental.
No, a week with no rental. Or 6 days without a rental.
CEO Pink, what do you got?
I was just gonna suggest sometimes flipping it brings clarity instead of controlling the number of days you can. We can explicitly state that during each month of June, July, and August, that a minimum of 7 nights are not rented.
Consecutive.
Perfect.
They're consecutive, right?
Gee, you just made your CA.
That's why you're the CEO.
7 consecutive
And I
nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does not work.
Mr. Kennedy,
Through the chair, it makes sense. I just caution that on an enforcement perspective, that is going to be severely difficult to track, even with the software.
Neighbors will help.
What if you just say
Councillor Edwards.
5% of the time?
sorry, you can put your hand up if you.
Yeah, actually, another thing is, a lot of these are owned by corporations. Does it have to be completely empty, or can the owner, which could be a corporation, use it as their own cottage? And then you're into a lot of things there, just a thought.
Councillor Bosenworth.
I think under the tax rules, if you are a corporation and you own the cottage, then the owner is thereby, under tax rules, a renter.
And that'd be easy to enforce.
It's easy to enforce.
All right, we've run aground here. So what is going to solve your immediate issue?
And it's enforceable.
Well, I mean, balance that against what
think
can we
it is
possibly track and manage?
I think any of the metrics are going to be difficult to enforce. So whether we went back to what we had before, or we go with 7-day period not rented, it's going to be the same difficulty of measuring it. So I think we go for it and try to find a way to measure it most accurately. Is it any worse the way it was before than it is now? No. So
Kennedy?
Through the chair, though, the way it is worded currently, depending on how people rent their properties, for example, like with the 6-night, the one rental per every 6 nights, you can have someone rent Friday, Saturday, and the group leaves on Sunday. That rental now effectively either has to be used by the owner or has to be vacant up until the Thursday of that following week. So in a sense, if people are using that business model to rent and they're going to do just Friday, Saturday, Sunday every single weekend, you effectively are only renting for, 9 to 12 days a month in doing that. So, and then there will be other people that still have weekly rentals, which will be totally compliant, and that's not an issue. And you can go back to back to back to back with those. So I don't really see a huge difference if we go to like the 21 days, or you have to be vacant for, 7 consecutive nights. I really don't see a huge difference in whatever way we go. I've been fielding a couple emails since we sent our notification on Engage on Monday morning. just asking for clarification on those types of questions. And I'm sure we will get quite a lot more once the application starts going. So I'm at council's mercy on how you guys want to word that, but I don't really see a huge difference on which way we go. I forget who just said it, but I think regardless of what we choose, it will be a difficulty to track and enforce effectively.
Councillor Bosenworth.
I think then that if the enforceability, I don't like putting in bylaws that are difficult to enforce. However, by saying you must have 7 days that are not rented for those months, that is relaying the intent, which is to have some downtime so that these neighborhoods remain residential neighborhoods. And that was the whole point of the 75%. And just saying you got 7 days where you can't rent it between July and August, we have achieved that. And it may be a little more difficult to enforce, but some neighbors will, we will get neighborhood help on that for problem areas.
Anyone with other comments? I've got one, but I'll wait until I see if anybody else does. We're absolutely moving this forward on the theory that our constituents need to be protected from aberrant behavior. It's challenging behavior that's what we're trying to stop here. We're going to have this first call notification system. We're going to have a licensing system that helps us know where these things are at any given time and tracks how often they are rented. We're going to have, I won't say zero tolerance, but damn near zero tolerance in terms of enforcement. We're going to have the monetary penalty system available to us as a tool. We're going to do an assault style campaign of information and communication about the importance of maintaining decorum when you're a guest here and you're visiting and staying in somebody's place in the midst of everyone's idyllic second home, or even if it's their first home in the middle of a residence. You've got to behave. So I think we're really moving the needle with this thing. I wish it was more not so difficult, let's say, to enforce. Enforcement's going to have to be a lot easier than it was, simply because we know where these places are. We have licenses. We have that mechanism to utilize to create an environment where people want to get along, want to work out, and want to take responsibility for behavior among their paying customers when they're in residence. So I think there's a lot to like here. I don't want to hang ourselves trying to figure out whether it's 7 days in, 7 days out. We want to break, whether it's 1 week a month or however you describe it. We want to give local residents a break from activity. I say we package it to the best that we can. We stand up for what we believe in. We look to our constituents to help us in the enforcement and in the, I don't like the enforcement part for them, but certainly in terms of reporting and recording activities that's not acceptable. And we got to get on it. If we really think this is serious, and we really do think that, or we wouldn't have spent forever putting this together. I'm ready to sign off on it and move it to the next step. Start getting technology working for us. Start getting technology populated with licensees. Start getting the messaging out that whatever has happened in the past isn't going to be welcome here any longer. So I don't want to lose enthusiasm for this because we can't figure out if it's 7 nights, 7 days, or the inverse. Whatever we, counting to 7 is easier than counting to 21, I suppose.
Your worship, I agree with you completely. I just firmly believe that saying that you have to have 7 days when you cannot rent in July and August is extremely simple to understand. The 75% has lots of vagary in it, and understanding the bylaw is one of the things you need to have to make it enforceable.
Yep. Councillor Burry.
Assuming it's a short-term rental, 7 nights off. Because if you go to 28 days rental, it's not a short-term rental and does not get caught by this. And we do believe in, for the most part, that the longer-term rental people behave themselves.
I think that's
If I could
true.
just add on that.
Councillor Bozeman.
The 7 day off is not, it's only partially to control behavior. It's mainly to maintain the sense of neighborhood.
Yep.
So
That's fair. Councillor
Is it
Kent.
gonna be for June, July and August each month? That's the way I thought we had written this. Yeah, okay. So a week off in June, a week off in July, a week off in August.
Unless it's a long-term rental.
Yes, that's a separate issue. Okay.
So have we captured enough? You got it all. We need 5 minutes to make a quick amendment and then we're gonna move this along. Or maybe-
Assuming that is the consensus and direct.
Yeah.
5 minutes to put it in words. in
All right.
writing, and then-
Okay, so that's fair. Yeah, straw poll. Are we good with 1 week off documented somehow in that regard? We're gonna support this. All right. Let's go ahead and draft it and have a look at it. We'll be back at 1:45 or whenever we're ready.
video.
Nice try.
I'm sorry, you're missing what? The one screen is blocked.
Can you hear me, Gord? I don't think he responded. You got me? Okay. Okay, thank you for your patience. We have just as a reminder, I had read a resolution. It's sitting there. I've got a amendment that we're going to deal with first to the original resolution as it was read. This one is moved by Councillor Bosenworth, seconded by Councillor Kent. Be it resolved that the resolution be amended to include the following at the end of the first paragraph. And it says, with the following amendment, number 1, section 3.4.a to be struck out and replaced with the following. A, for a minimum time period of 7 consecutive nights in each of the months of June, July, and August. And so that's the delete and replace that we are proposing by way of amendment to the original one. Does anyone have any questions on that? Comfortable with it? And I'll call the question. All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Chair, could you please read that again? I think we may need to add a couple more words in there.
Okay, with the following amendment, number 1, section 3.4.a to be struck out and replaced with the following. A, for a minimum time period of 7 consecutive nights in each of the months of June, July, and August, semicolon, and.
My apologies. I don't think we're capturing what we're looking to do right now. Just the way the section's worded, I think we need to add a few words at the start of it, because that's just more or less saying, so we're saying within a community residential R4 zone, any waterfront residential zone or open water body open space zone under the Township of Muskoka Lakes Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw, no person shall market, operate, or provide an STRA for whatever that's
For a minimum time period of 7 consecutive nights in each of the months of June, July, and August.
But that's not capturing, I don't think that's capturing what we're actually looking to do. So maybe we need to take a extra 5 minutes and.
Sure.
Sorry.
We're going to take one more 5-minute break. Thanks. Okay, so we have a different amendment that I'm going to read. Moved by Councillor Bosenworth, seconded by Councillor Kent. Be it resolved that the resolution be amended to include the following at the end of the first paragraph. With the following amendment, number 1, section 3.4, removal of the word market. And number 2, section 3.4.A to be struck out and replaced with the following. A, for a minimum time period of 7 consecutive nights in each of the June, July, and August each year. And leaving one. Okay, so Gord, can you hear me? Did you hear that?
Sorry, your worship, not the tail end of it.
All right, let me read you part 2 because I assume part 1 was in the front end of it. Part 2 is section 3.4.A to be struck out and replaced with the following. A, for a minimum time period of 7 consecutive nights in each of the months of June, July, and August each year, and. All right, so that's a resolution, that's an amendment that's being proposed by this resolution. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Kent.
Just, what's the market related to? The word taking out? I didn't understand what
I'm
that
going
was.
to defer to someone who. Mr. Kennedy.
Yep. Through the chair, just through discussion, if we include market in this section, technically the way Airbnb and VRBO calendars work, obviously people that are operating are going to have their months wide open until rentals start coming in. So technically, if we have market within this section, every single operator would be in contravention of those 2 sections. So we had to take market out, and if they're operating or providing the short-term rental in contravention of either of these, that's where the issue is. So market just had to be removed because it caused a little bit of a concern on the enforcement side there.
All right, any other questions on the proposed amendment? I don't see, Councillor Zavitz.
Yeah, and just to you, what does this do? And I guess this is a licensing question. What does this do to the non-waterfront $500? Is that going to be taken care of in the other aspect, or is that gone now?
Kennedy.
Through the chair, at the recommendation of planning committee last month, there are no restrictions for off-water properties anymore. So this does not change anything for rural type of properties.
Other questions? All right, I'll call the question. All in favor? All opposed? All right, that carries. Thank you. Okay, so I've already read the original resolution. That's the amendment. So the next thing is simply just I want to call to find out who's in favor. Unless anybody has any questions on process, the only question left to be asked is, who's in favor of the original resolution as amended? All in favor? And all opposed? Thank you. Okay. Couple of quickies. Moved by Councillor McIntyre, seconded by Councillor Nishikawa. Be it resolved that bylaw 2024-087 to confirm the proceedings of council on August 14, 2024 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. The questions, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. And finally, be it resolved that council adjourn at 4:04 p.m. And the next regular meeting of council will be held on Wednesday, September the 11th at 1 p.m. electronically from the council chambers, municipal offices in Port Carling, Ontario. All in favor? And that carries. Thank you all very much.